What's going on, BM? Welcome to the I Push BM podcast, where we connect with the dopest people pushing for greatness in our city. And today, man, we got a really good interview with my guy, the owner of Dippy, Mr. Rashad. What's going on, brother?
Hey, how you doing, brother?
You good, man? I want to just tell people a little bit about Dippy, man. I saw it on the gram the other day. We reached out, and I was like, man, you finna kill him. You finna be the first guy to put alcohol to your house for the turn up, so you can have a safe turn up at home, man. Tell us a little bit about what Dippy is.
So Dippy is what you call a unique e-commerce, logistic, and last mile delivery company. We specifically focus on alcohol procurement and delivery in monopoly states. So Alabama will be considered a monopoly state because it's controlled by the ABC board. So our goal right now is we'll be launching next week, and our goal is to actually get booze delivered to everyone at Alabama's doorsteps.
Okay, so that means I can go to your app, go to Dippy's app, put in the alcohol that I want, get it brought to the house. So if I got a party or whatever, I can get it right to the house.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What makes this the first, man? Because I would assume that, is it because about laws, no one ever did this before? Or you just like, I'll be there about to the punchline?
A little bit of both. So we're not the first alcohol delivery company, right? So you got companies who's doing it. You got DoorDash who's doing it in other states. You got GoPuff. You got Drizzly. What makes us different is we're in a monopoly state. So there are about 18 or 19 monopoly states. So to help people understand what monopoly state is, the ABC board, which is the Alcohol Beverage Control Board, they control all spirits. So everybody knows, you know, in Alabama, you want to make it to the ABC store before they close. Otherwise, you got to go to the package store because the package store is in, what, $2 or $3. The package store is about $2 or $3 more than the ABC store. So how it works is these major corporations, they, in other states, they pretty much have the ability to, you know, like have a major distribution through a major warehouse or something like that. They can store alcohol and things of that nature. But in those other states, the laws are so rigorous, it doesn't matter if you're a package store or, you know, basically you have to get your alcohol from them. And everybody hates the ABC board because imagine you buying something from somebody and then they get to compete against you. And then they get to set their prices lower than you.
Exactly.
So it's like, you know, when it comes to the ABC board, how it works here, they just made alcohol delivery legal. So in 18, 19 states, it wasn't legal. So like in New York, you know, Chicago, Illinois, you know, I think Texas, like things like that, been legal. But monopoly states just made it legal, and Alabama is the first state to make it legal. So we're the first company specifically focused on alcohol delivery in a monopoly state in the entire United States. So our goal is to go from Alabama and to go into regular states as well, but specifically focus on monopoly states, because essentially what happens is if we win the bid with the ABC board, we basically become a monopoly within a monopoly. So unlike McDonald's, if you go to McDonald's, you have 4 or 5 options to choose how to get it delivered, waiter, DoorDash, Uber Eats. Well, the ABC board, they're only going to have about 1 or 2 companies. So imagine one company have exclusive access to all the alcohol at all the ABC board stores throughout the state. So you're talking about ultimately, you know, becoming like a $40 to $50 million valuated company.
Taking up the game.
Exactly.
Love it, man. I love it, man. That's the I Push way. How did you come up with the concept, man, for Dippy? Is it something you saw in another state, so you know, I'm bringing it to the ham, or did you just like, you know what, I have this idea, even though you started your research, see other people doing it? So
originally I started with a whole different concept. The concept was called My Neighbor. And My Neighbor, I created this concept because right now there's only 2 things you could get within minutes, right? The first thing you could get within minutes is what you call Uber or, you know, transportation, right? The second thing you could get within minutes is food, right? But outside of that, you have to like schedule it. So my thought was, one day I was in the house and my wife wanted me to wash dishes, and I was like, man, imagine if I could. At that point, I was staying in an apartment. I was like, imagine if I go on my phone right now and say, hey, I'll pay somebody $20 to come clean up this kitchen. You know, and I was like, dang, it doesn't exist. Like, there's nothing out here. Like, right now, I found out you get paid for the amount of value you add to the marketplace. So with that being said, it's like, if you got a certain amount of money in your pocket, it's somebody out there willing to do what you willing to pay for. The price just got to be right. So if you wanted somebody to go to the store, you know, and bring you back, you know, a pack of cigarettes and a wine cooler, or you wanted somebody to come in here and wipe the sweat off your forehead, they would do it. If your money is right, you just don't have access to them, right? And that was my original concept. But when you figure out how to start a business, you really can't start with this business with like a bunch of ideas, right? You have to narrow it down to a niche and then build from there. And I was narrowing down to a niche, and I landed upon another niche within it by doing a customer survey, getting feedback. And I thought that, you know, it was this niche in the marketplace for like e-commerce, right? During COVID, it was like a lot of people suffering because of the mail program.
Right.
It was bagged up. And I was like, well, a lot of these people who do e-commerce, they're not waiting till FedEx comes to the house or UPS or the post office comes to the house. They're taking their package and dropping it off. And I was like, well, I can just have a niche market to pick up packages from e-commerce shoppers and drop it off at their nearby package, right? But then I found out, well, it's not enough money in that because the average person, they're a small, you know, business. They don't have enough money. So they're trying to keep enough, you know, capital as much as possible. That's why they go to the store themselves, because they want to keep their money in their pocket. And from there, I was literally listening to NPR radio one day, and I heard Senate Bill 126 just got passed. And when Senate Bill 126 got passed, they said, you know, alcohol delivery will become illegal. I mean, they said alcohol delivery will become legal via Senate Bill 126.
Right.
And from there, I did my market research, and, you know, I pretty much figured out there was nobody in the state doing it. I thought, you know, shit was, you know, sponsoring the bill, but outside of that, no one was really, you know, focused on alcohol delivery. And I really just made a market pivot and did some research, and the rest is history.
Okay. Okay. So how's it going so far? Like, I see the app is up and working. Like, what stage are you in now with Dip It?
Well, right now we're like in beta testing, so you guys can't like download it at the App Store. You guys can't download our app at the App Store as of today. But starting on next Tuesday, you guys will be able to actually download our app via Google Play Store or the App Store. And, you know, you guys can actually get alcohol delivered. So as far as what we are, you know, we have drivers, we have dispatchers, we have the team, we have retailers, alcohol, wine, and beer.
Okay. So let's back up. We talk business, man. Let's find out who you are, man. Just kind of give us a little bit about, because I know I was introduced to your drive and your passion today, man, but I really want to let people know how that came about, because it's not that you just started a business and you're blowing up real quick. It's a lot that has to do with who you are and what you've been through, what you experienced that got you where you are. So what does that look like? So
just starting off, I actually started shining shoes. I started shining shoes at the age of 5. So I'm the youngest of 6 boys. And my father would have each one of us shine shoes on the weekend. So you're talking about waking up about 6 o'clock, eating breakfast, and going to my father's shoe shine and repair shop. He still has 2 or 3 shoe shine repair shops in downtown Birmingham now. So the entrepreneur bug was kind of lit within me at an early age, because my father always taught me, you know, as a man, you need to be able to do something with your hands. And you really can't depend on another man to pay you. Matter of fact, if you depend on another man to pay you in, you know, 100% form, nothing wrong with a job, right? But the moment you 100% depend on another individual to pay you, it becomes problematic, right? And I think, you know, as I got older and, you know, started studying history, I realized that our people, you know, that was their original way of life, right? During segregation, you had people that actually, you know, even if they worked the job, our people of color had vocations on the side, right? Somebody knew how, you know, to do to repair cars. Somebody know how to do hair. Somebody had, you know, actual business. So for me, I always knew it was going to be more than shoe shining, but that always, you know, kind of allowed me to have the ability to feed my family outside of somebody else, right? Taking 100% autonomy and saying, hey, if push comes to shove, I know I can go out, you know, with some polish and a shoe shine brush and bring some money home.
I can most definitely see in the future, man. Book, motivation speaking, all of the above, man. Let me ask you one last question. We do this on the podcast. We ask you, what are you pushing for? What is not necessarily Dip It, but what is Rashad pushing for when it comes to greatness?
That's a
yeah, that's a loaded question.
That's a loaded. That's like a tough question. No, but I respect it. I think. Well, I'm not gonna say I think I know. For me, what I'm saying, what I'm pushing for is to be an example. To be an example for others and let others know what's possible, right? To be a pillar. So literally in my mind, you know, the issue for me when it comes to not just, you know, people in color, especially specifically people in color, right? But just in general, when it comes to our race, and this can relate to regardless of your race, but I'm kind of focusing on people of color because I'm a person of color. When you think of prominent people, right? You think of people of wealth, even if there are prominent businessmen who are wealthy and who are people of color, nobody knows them, right? So when it comes to a person of color who has money, you're either like an entertainer, an athlete, and that's really it. It's either entertainer or athlete in some shape, form, or fashion. Even if they are business minded, are, you know, are doing well business wise, they started off as an entertainer or an athlete. And I think the issue becomes for a lot of people is like, you know, people think they have to start some way or somehow in their lane to become business savvy or business, you know, educated. And my goal is to kind of take a different approach. Like my goal is, you know, to become, you know, extremely prominent businessman and, you know, really create generational wealth. And I kind of hate the term now because it's used so much to where everybody, you know, talks about generational wealth and this and the third. But, you know, for me, you know, my thing is like really being one of the people who can, you know, come to Birmingham and say, hey, no, this entire downtown Ensley has a black bank. We have a black grocery store. We have a black dry cleaners, a black beauty. Like, it's more than just, you know, obviously you can benefit your family. You create generational wealth in your family by creating a trust fund for your child or life insurance. Like, that's more of a simple thing for your family. But when you're talking about changing the entire demographic, right, and how people view themselves, for me, it's, you know, like, hey, going to Atlanta. Like, Atlanta is cool, but when people don't understand about Atlanta, right, you know, you go to Buckhead, or you like, do we own the entire mall?
Right. So the generational wealth is really, the wealth is a mindset.
Right, really changing the mindset and how people view themselves. Because I think a lot of times people just say, hey, you know, I hate to be long-winded, but, you know, it's more than just, you know, buying land or buying, you know, stocks, and like all those things are cool. Like, those are a part of the process. But the biggest thing is, right, you know, what are you doing that's allowing somebody else to know it's possible? And I think for me, you know, one of the biggest things is just ending, you know, me in a tech startup, me having no tech experience, saying, okay, I'm about to launch a alcohol tech startup and I don't know nothing about it. And literally that's what happened. I didn't know anything about tech. I spent a bunch of money that I saved. I failed. I became more educated. I enrolled in the program. I ended up meeting a rocket scientist who's now my business partner. I had some more trials and tribulations within the company. And fast forward, we're here. And pretty sure we're going to have some more trials and tribulations, but we're going to overcome them. So for me, it's like, hey, get to a certain point to where somebody who's watching your podcast or watching your video and say, hey, like, this guy literally is from Ensley. He didn't, you know, play football. He didn't, you know, rap or anything like that. You know, I'm not TikTok famous. You know, I didn't have athletic or entertainer beginning. Like, I literally, you know, started, you know, what people would say out the mud, educated myself, started the lowest you can start, which is shining shoes, and just believed in myself, surrounding myself around people who believe. And now, because he did it, now I know I'm able to do it as well. So I think, to answer your question, is really just I think the best thing a human being can do really is inspire other people. Yeah.
Man, I wanted to end this podcast and say something prolific, man, but you did that, man. Like, man, you dropped some gems, some knowledge, man, and I really appreciate you taking the time for coming, because I know we hit you up last minute and you came right on. Listen, we'd love to have you back again as you progress. Love to work with you more. So you just tell people how they can follow Dippy real quick, man, and we'll get you up out of here.
Yes, sir. So you guys can follow Dippy on Instagram at Dippy Delivery. You guys can follow Dippy on Twitter as well as Facebook and LinkedIn at Dippy Delivery as well.
All right, guys, you can follow I Push Be Him podcast on everything I Push has going on, man. Stay tuned for our next interview. Hey, thank you. Be easy.